Scene. Okay. Hi, Ethan.
Hey, Shad. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Sun is shining. Can't complain.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's typical gray of Seattle right now. Okay, so I want to talk to you about something that I really love about Rust, but I never realized I loved it until I missed it somewhere else. I think there's many of those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Do you
they
want to
give you a
guess?
lot of tools.
Yeah, they do. Do you want to? No, you're never going to be able to guess because you may not even know about it. Um,
Possible.
but just to see, and the hint is that I have this web page open, so it has something to do with this. I'll scroll down to the part, yeah, right here.
I would guess maybe just the build tooling. Rust has a
Yes,
lot of really nice build tooling surrounding it.
yes,
Cargo
yes,
build, and then all the other developer contributions to the whole space.
yes. It is
They've really
definitely in
made
the build
it
tooling.
like, yeah, they've definitely made it like very first class. I don't know what the specific feature is.
Okay, okay. Have you heard of Doctest?
I haven't, no.
Really? Oh, I'm actually really glad you haven't, because if you haven't heard of this, you might have your mind blown right now. One of the biggest problems with writing good documentation on top of your functions is that bit rot happens.
Yeah.
Like
That's
someone
where I
else
thought you were
comes
going with
along.
this.
Go ahead, say it, Ethan.
Someone else comes along, they change something, they either don't read the comment or at all, or don't bother to update it, and suddenly your very helpful comment now says the exact wrong thing.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know who termed it, but it's a form of bit rot. The comments no longer match what the code is doing. So, a first-class citizen of Rust is a thing called Doctest. What Doctest does is it will execute Rust code that is in the comments of your functions. So let's look at some code. Let's look at error. So here is error. And in error, you'll see that there is some Rust code here in the example. If I
Mm-hmm.
mouse over set expose errors, it's showing me the comments and it's also showing me the example and it's showing me the Rust code here. But it also has this run doc test button. Yeah.
Hmm.
And if I click that button, it will run that code. It'll run the code that's in here.
That's
And
pretty neat.
yeah. And if I were to put something incorrect here, like I can't pass a 1, and I run this doc test, it will fail.
That is pretty sweet. So this is like widely used and people just like put sort of like basic like test cases.
Yeah. Well, the intent is that this is an example for a user to consume. If the example doesn't work, then it's terrible documentation, right?
Yep.
So this
I've come across
eliminates.
that actually far more often than the documentation, which is no longer accurate. It's like, oh, let me go try this new thing. Oh, all of their instructions don't work. Let me either spend an hour trying to figure out what is broken about their example and get it working,
Mhm.
or go use the other thing that I found that purports to do the same thing.
Well, the wonderful thing about Rust is that if someone has written comments for their functions, you can be sure that those comments are correct because cargo test will fail. So like if I were to open up a terminal here and then I were to say cargo test, this is not just going to run my regular unit tests. It's also running every doc test that exists in my project. That's what these ones are slightly slower. I think it's because it's doing something extra. I'm not exactly sure, but
Well, it has to like parse it out of strings, right? It's like, okay, let me look at the comments. Okay, let me like find the actual source code
yes, I'm
in
I'm
here.
pretty sure that that's the reason. But you can see like these unit tests, which are above here, these ones ran almost instantly, right? In less seconds than the precision exists for to hold a number.
Hmm.
Then the doc tests ran. Yeah.
Now, can you scroll back up? I didn't actually see how they differentiate the doc test from the. Okay, just doc tests. Yeah,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there highlighted.
Hmm. So now, looking at these, you can, for example, see that there is a test called that is in error, and then like line 140 passed. So we could head over to line 140. Oh, by the way, this is still red in my editor. If I rerun the doc test, it will go green again. Okay. So let's head to 140. Yeah, so it's identified by this doc test here. So there's line 140. It's not running in order, right? Like line 140 ran, maybe it's running in parallel. And then these is when they, yeah. So here's line 150, then line 82. You can see it running. So this is one super great thing about Rust. One of my favorite features. Recently, I've been working in a Swift project. And without going into too much detail, I was missing this the most. So I started writing some documentation for myself. But because it's sort of a brand new project, I'm refactoring a lot. And the tests do not check whether or not my Swift comments are correct. And immediately I was like, it was such a bad idea to create documentation because I won't know which of the comments are no longer valid after my refactor, right?
So quickly you get spoiled.
I know. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is one of the best things about Rust.
There's a lot of contenders for the best thing in Rust.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But this one here makes me totally fine with having documentation in my code because I know that if my documentation has suffered bit rot, I know to go and update it, right?
It's a very Rusty style thing, right? It's like, oh yes, we ensure correctness even in your comments.
I recently watched a video that was a professor of computer science from Berkeley, I think. I forget her name. And she was talking about the various programming languages. And one of the things she said that, Python lets you write your code quickly. It makes things easy. It gets out of your way. But Rust has your back. And I thought that was the perfect way to sum up Rust in a nutshell. Rust has your back. Because that seems to be their philosophy, right? Rust will do everything that it can do to ensure that you have written correct code and you can refactor without worries. Things will not break to the best of its ability. I guess the right way to say it is more so than any other language, it will do these things for you. So the question I had, is Rust the first language to do this?
So hold on, can we back up a sec before we jump down that? You said it's a first class member of Rust. Can you expand on what you mean by that? You mean there's no sort of crate that you have to download to do this? It's built in to like the core link. Nice.
Did you watch our last video that we published together?
The one that you and I published together? Yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason we were not jiving on the out of the box. We kept like you were saying, well, not fully in this case, this is completely 100% out of the box experience. You get Doctests. If you write a doc and you have triple backtick Rust in it, it will run those tests. It'll run them as tests.
Nice.
Out of the box. No extra, nothing extra needed.
No imports, no internet connection.
I wonder if you need an internet connection. I don't know. I hope not.
Well, just thinking like you would need an internet connection to download another crate.
Right. I think it's 100% built in. I think I asked an AI at some point, is Rust the first language to do this? Because it does feel pretty unique. Is Rust the first language to do doc tests? Let's go. Come on, Gemini. Okay, so no, Rust isn't the first, but it deeply integrates them as a first-class feature. So I found out that Python has it too. But
yes.
you do...
Right after the video started, I just Googled Doctest. That was one of the first things that came up.
We might want to create a little Python project and see how first class it is. Because I know it's a module, but like, will it run if I do Pytest? If I do cargo test, it's running my doc tests for sure. Like, I didn't have to do anything extra for that. We can do that after.
Yeah.
There's one more cool thing that I wanted to show you.
There is one more thing.
Which is that Doctest by itself will not run code in my README.
It won't run code in your README. Okay, that makes sense.
So I have this quick start in my README. It will not run this because this is not in Rust code.
But given the way you're talking about it, I suspect that it can.
Yeah, because you foreshadowed successfully. So you might argue that the examples in the README are the most important ones to be correct because it's the first thing that a new user will interact with your project. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty high on my priority list to somehow get this to run as well. There are two ways to do it. The first way is arguably the simplest way, and prepare to have your mind blown. All you do is inject the README file to the top of the lib.rs so that it is a doc.
I'm not sure that's the most elegant way to do it, but it is a way to do it.
Why not? They provide the macro so it's not just taking the README and sticking it at the top. It's also putting it in docstring, like with the triple slashes in front. It's like parsing the README to add triple.
Oh, it's adding all the appropriate comments and the triple backticks and the rust in the triple backticks.
I think it's very simple. I think all it's doing is prefixing every line with // space. I think that's what it's doing. We could probably look and figure it out. So in Rust, you can include a file directly in your code, just like inject it as a constant string.
Yep.
And there's a macro to do that. This one here, it's very, very similar, but it is slightly modifying the README in this case to make it a doc comment.
Oh, I love that.
The benefit of this is that first of all, by putting it on the very first line, if I break something in the README, when the test fails, I will know which line it failed on. So let's break something in README. Let's head over to README. Let's go down here.
Hold on. That's like very strange though. Is that going to mess up your line numbers for everything else in that file? I guess not.
I think it does. Because it's literally injecting the string in, right? It will. But take a look at librs. I don't have much in this file because it serves strictly as a re-export all the various internals of my library, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I have just one test here. And what we can do is we can change it to break it, and then we can see what line number it breaks on, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing. It actually is not broken. Look, line 28, API result from librs, line 28.
So that macro's doing a lot.
It's lifting more than I expected, yes.
Yeah. That's funny.
Very cool. It's correct. It's lined up correctly. Okay, let's go to the README and break something and watch librs fail. I think my only problem is that it would be nicer if this said the test from the README. That would just be the cherry on top. So let's something else I wanted to show you. So in a test, let's say that you don't actually you just want to compile it. You just want to make sure it compiles. You don't want to actually run the code. You can do triple backtick rust, no run, and then the cargo test will compile it, but it won't execute the code. The benefit is, in this case here, it starts a server, and so it will then block forever. You could actually write a full test, but then your README will have a bunch of starting up stuff, sending requests, and then shutting it down. But you could add those into the Doctest.
Yeah.
I actually did do that in my first iteration. I did that, but it was noise to the user.
Oh.
Because it shows up in the README, right? All those, in the quick start guide that starts up the server, there's all this code that now exercises the server. Mm-hmm. But there's even a thing for that. But before I get there, let's break a thing. Let's remove a semicolon. That should break it. And then if we do a cargo test, we'll see that my quick start no longer builds. Needs to get to source lib. And I will speed this up in post.
Just zip past. Oh, we failed. All right.
Line 36. Help, add a semicolon there.
Very nice.
Right? So cool. So the other thing that's worth knowing about, inside of one of these tests, let's say you wanted to do an assertion. You can have these assertions inside of the doc test, and these assertions will then execute as part of the doc test. And so these are like full-fledged tests in some cases, right? Like here's an example. But in this case here, it's highly documenting in the sense that I want the user to know that if they create API error default, that the status code will be internal server error, and that the error title will be internal error, and that the detail will be something went wrong. And so by writing this doc test like this, when the user mouses over the default and sees the instructions, they can see, oh yeah, okay, if I created this API error default, these are the values it would have. And so it's self-documenting.
It's like a step beyond self-documenting, since it does, in fact, execute.
Yes. Yeah. I just love this. This was one of my favorite. Yeah, so good. Now, there are situations where you want to hide certain lines of code from the user. That's useful if, let's say, you have a example function, and that example function, let's say it reaches out to some database and does something. So if you put real code there, it would be complex, right? And you would be doing it only so that the doc test passes. But sometimes what you might want to do is create a mock function that does that. But the mock function is also too complex to expose to the user. And so what you can do is you can write your doc test and have some of the code not show up in the docs in when you mouse over. It's in the documentation like up here. But when you mouse over it, it doesn't render in here, and it doesn't render into crates.io. So on crates.io, all these docs are also there, right? Like if we head over to crates.io and I were to look at Axum Anyhow's documentation, click here, and then I were to go to my functions, I click on one of these, this is the documentation from the doc test, right?
Yep.
So this is all tested. Now, sometimes I have some setup code, the database example. I want it to be available so that the doc test can execute it, but it's mock code and doesn't do anything real. So let's say it returns users from a database, right? You can do that.
Yeah, so I wanted to try this fantastic feature, just in a quick example. So I created a small file with a small Rust doc string, and I can't quite get it to work. But I think I'm doing something wrong.
Why don't we start a new project? So before we do a new project and test out that thing, I did want to show an example of a comment that you can put into the doc test, but doesn't actually show up in the docs.
And
the
hidden doc test.
The hidden doc test. I've forgotten how to do it. So I'm actually just going to ask the Jippity to help me do it. Let's ask Claude. Claude's good at this kind of thing. Or actually, let's just ask, no agent. How do I add a doc test that doesn't show up in the docs, but executes in doctest? With this hash prefix. So it will still execute. So I can do hash.
That's funny. They're like, if you want to really hide your comment, make it a Python comment.
Indeed. Let's give it a try and make sure that that's true. All right, so we'll say hash, and then we'll say like let x equal 3 plus 3. And if I run the doc test, it should still pass. Cool. And if I were to mouse over detail, it doesn't show up.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very handy. It's like an extra nice little knob.
Yes. Now, the only problem is that you can't do this in your README.
Oh, really?
Want to guess why?
I don't know. Feels like it should still work.
It still works in the README, but it doesn't remove it from the README. So it will still show up in the README.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because, that makes sense.
Do you want to, should we try and do this from scratch? Brand new project. Yeah. Okay. And we'll just say cargo init. You were doing a binary, yeah?
Yes. And I think that's the problem. I think it only is enabled by default for libs.
For libs.
Not for binaries.
Okay. let's prove that. So we'll do a lib doctest lib, and then we will just VS Code inside of doctest lib, and then we have our source and our lib. So we're going to add a doctest comment to this. And so what we'll do is say triple backtick rust, and now run doctest immediately just popped up there.
Beautiful.
And so I can say let result equal add, and then we're going to add 2 values here. Let's add 1 + 1 and semicolon. And then we'll just say assert eq exclamation point result should be 2 semicolon. And if I run the doc test, it fails. That means that it was working.
Oh, that's weird.
What?
It's not properly using the function that the comment is on. That seems wrong.
Do I need a use super here? What is happening? Let's say let result equal 1 + 1. Make sure this works. Okay, that works. I think I know what the problem is. So I think that the doc test runs in a brand new context.
If we're running it in a new context, what if you just import it from the lib?
Yeah, that seems right. That's what I was trying to do with the use. Let's try again.
Yeah. What if you make it like explicit?
Okay.
Like use it uses like the default name of the project for like the top level package, right?
Right. So inside of, I think in cargo is where we name the package, right? It's the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can say doctest lib : add, maybe.
Yeah. That's what I thought it would be.
Okay, let's try. Okay, that's how you do it. All
cool.
right. So what we've confirmed is that the doc tests, they definitely run on lib, and the context of the doc test is as if you have the lib imported, but you need to put all the use statements in. Okay, let's do the next thing, which is we're going to cargo init a bin, which you just leave out the -- lib, and we'll call it doctest bin. I can see why this one might be maybe not enabled by default.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're just doing a bin, the assumption is that you're not like sharing the docs for it to be used by others. Presumably you can still enable it.
I hope so. Because it would be useful. It would be useful in binaries as well.
Yeah. We still like rich hover for our binaries.
Okay, we could just reuse what we had here. We can create a public function called add, right? And this is a bin, so let's doctest bin.
And you still get the little pop-up.
I still have the doc test here.
Yeah.
Click.
So.
No library targets found in package. So you didn't see this when you tried to run it?
I was running it from the terminal. I was just doing cargo test.
Cargo test.
I wasn't even using VS Code. I just wrote it in Vim real quick.
You're right. It is not trying to execute them.
Yeah, so it just like silently is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Not really silently, but
let's make sure that it runs over here. Okay. So in a lib, cargo test does run. Let's ask the agent, how do I run? It kind of makes sense though. Like a bin will never.
Default, yeah.
You wouldn't be. I guess you could still be publishing a bin to. Yeah, you could still be publishing a bin to crates. But if you had libraries that someone would import into their own package, it would have to live in a separate lib target, which you could depend on in your bin. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have. It does though. Like you might still want to document your internal functions for your own internal use.
Yeah, like basically just when you're using code search or some sort of like web-based code search style tool.
Let's ask the Claude. Okay. How do I create a doc test in a Rust binary target? Oh, it's thinking. It's doing that these days. Thinking.
Too much thinking.
Ooh, I can see the issue. Doc tests don't work directly in binary targets. I forgot to turn off agent mode.
It is an agent, so.
I did some stuff. We can take a look-see. Let's see if it passes. So run the cargo test. And it passed. Okay, let's keep the change and see what it did. So there is a lib, and it's very cool. The lib has a doc test. And what it basically did was it moved my function that I wanted a doc test for into the lib so that we can use the doc test over there. Let's see if it added targets. Very interesting. It did not create any targets. I was expecting a lib target inside of cargo.toml, but no. It just has to be in a separate file.
Yeah.
And that means main has to import lib, so there must be a mod here.
It's still in the same module, I think, right? It's still in the default module.
Whenever I've been working on a project, every time I created a new file, I always had to like mod it in. You know what? I think I remember. Lib.rs is a magic file. Main and lib are special files in Rust. If I were to rename this to lib2, we're broken now.
Fancy.
Now you have to put a mod here. Now you have to say mod lib2. And then I think you can say lib2 add. And that will make this work. But let's see if this doc test still runs. I don't think it does.
Oh, because you don't have them defined anymore.
Correct. All right. Okay. Learned some valuable lessons today. It is that... Okay. Please summarize for us, Ethan.
Yeah, I was going to say, so in summary, if you want doc tests for your bin files, just move all your business logic to a lib file. And then have like 1 or 2 lines in your main.rs. Or whatever you don't care about doc testing.
Yeah. I think...
Seems fine.
It seems fine. It also makes some amount of sense to me because the purpose of the doc test is so that the stuff you put on crates.io, you can have confidence it isn't broken. That being said, I see the value in wanting all doc tests across your entire project to run. You can make things work that way. As we saw, you can make a lib.rs, and then you can have all of your business logic integrated into the lib part. I guess the word is disappointed. I'm a little disappointed that our doc tests in main don't work. I'm sure they have a rationale.
Well, I can imagine in a lot of projects you might have a main in each one of your libraries that does some like very minimal sort of exemplary testing stuff. Just to be like, oh, hey, look, this is how this stuff goes. But you might not want any docs in general to be automatically pulled from that into your crates documentation.
Yeah. This must be why I never noticed Doctest until I made Axum anyhow, because when I was working on Koso, it's strictly a web server app. And most of the code that you tend to write in that kind of land doesn't need too much documentation because it's only used in one place. You're not expecting anyone to call many of those functions, or for any of them to be reusable in any way. And I guess that kind of is maybe the motivation, because like if something really is reusable, then it belongs in lib, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
I like it.
I don't have much more to tell you about this. Oh, and I'm a little tired. Maybe we don't do the Python thing. Do you want to do the Python thing?
Where we test out the doc test in Python?
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it?
I took
Okay.
a brief look at that. It looks like their magic prefix is, the three greater thans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, just like their terminal.
UV in it, and
Another great Rust project.
I know. All the great projects nowadays made in Rust. Made with love in Rust. Let's call it Doctest. All right. Open this up and let's put that up there. Make it slightly bigger. Do the resize. All right. Great.
Man, you're even resizing your windows in the command line these days, huh?
Yeah. I like them to be a very specific size for the recordings. That way, like when I zoom in, there isn't any pixel artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it fits exactly 1080p. And so if I zoom in to this area inside of Final Cut, it's going to be the correct 1-to-1 pixels. So it doesn't have to like average pixels and that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
All right. Let's write. I thought it said hello from my podcast. And okay, let's do the same thing. Def add. And then we'll have A and B, and we'll just say return A plus B. And why are you complaining? Oh, I got my...
we have our type annotations enabled.
Yeah.
What a classy Python programmer we are.
Yes, well done. Okay, let's write some Doctests. So adds 2 numbers, yeah? Mm-hmm. And now we will say... I believe that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Wait, they're not comments. Doctests and...
Yeah, it's Python. Got to do doc strings.
Doc strings. Ooh, wow. That's amazing. Add
Accurate.
2 numbers together. And then this seems largely useless nowadays when you have type hints.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can still document your parameters sometimes, but yeah.
So if we do add 1 and 1, it should be 2. If I recall, that's the syntax for this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, well.
But how do we run it, Shad?
How do we run it indeed? I mean, do you know? Because I don't know.
I do. I happen to have the documentation right in front of me.
Oh.
You have to import the Doctest package in your main, for example.
In here? Like this?
I actually meant inside the if name equals main, but I believe it will work in either place.
Okay. Let's put it there. Yeah.
And then doctest.testmod, which I guess enables it for the entire module.
Doctest.testmod, you said?
Yes.
Just like this?
Just like that.
I see. And okay. And then what do I
do? You can already see
main?
The limitations. Yeah.
So I say, so basically we're running main then.
Yeah. I think you need to say .py.
Oh, thank you.
And if you pass v, -v, it'll tell you what it's doing.
Or I can make it break by seeing it fail.
You can also make it break.
I see.
Aha.
Okay. So ideally, of course, we want this to run in something like Pytest, right?
Yeah.
And the main limitation here is that we're executing one of the mains, right? We want it to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can already sort of see the limitations of it being set up as like sort of a bolt-on after the fact addition.
That being said, though, this has some surprising similarities to the Rust way of thinking about things. If you have a main, you're a binary, right? If you're a lib, your main can be used to run your tests.
Yeah.
I have this notion that Pytest might do something with this because Pytest is good. UV.
Probably.
And then if I remember, you say UV run Pytest. Is that it?
I've not used Pytest through UV before, so I'm not sure.
Collected 0 items. Failed because it collected 0 items. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything out of the box. Let's ask Claude. This time ask mode. Please don't just change all my code for me. Is it possible to run Doctest via Pytest? Ah, good news. I already have it installed. Thank you for that knowledge.
So I wonder now, We should try both ways. I wonder now if
We can have a main.
you don't need that import doc test.
Okay, let's see it work first, and then we'll try that idea out. So we'll just say uv run pytest doctest modules. It didn't fail because it ran one test. And this is what we're doing. Are we removing? Let's keep having our main. We'll invoke it this way. The answer is yes.
See, that's okay. Yeah, that fixes all the problems that I had with this. Because who's going to remember to go and add that to everything? Nobody.
Right. This is surprisingly good and makes me very happy with my two favorite languages, Python and Rust, for the win.
Yes. Yes.
So,
take notes, Java.
What's that?
I said take notes, Java, and
Take
also
notes.
go.
If you talk to Kyle, I think he'll tell you that Java has made many strides in recent years.
This is what I hear.
This is also what I think this is what all programmers hear, but most of us have moved away from Java. So all we do is hear about it. Anyway, Ethan, tell our viewers what they should do.
They should like and subscribe.
Okay.
and leave a comment.
Only nice ones, please.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, internets.
Bye.